So I gave you guys a video a couple of weeks ago on the first round prospects the Giants could draft with the 25th overall pick, or even if they trade up. But today in this video, I really want to go over more unpopular but probable prospects that could be drafted with the 25th overall pick. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Going on 27 squad. Welcome back into another video. If you guys are enjoying the video and enjoying the content, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Let's go. So I really wanted to go over more unpopular prospects that the Giants could draft with the 25th overall pick, just because anything could happen. We really don't know what Joe Schoen really is as a GM as far as his drafting, like I guess how he would draft. Like Dave Gettleman, I could pretty much predict the position and almost the player that he wants to choose. Going back from years, it was just easy because we had multiple years with him drafting, right? But this is Joe Schoen's second year as GM. Now it's his own scouts. He's not dealing with the previous regime scouts. He's dealing with his own staff, his own scouts. So it's going to be very interesting to see where they go in the draft. So obviously in last year's draft, besides the first round, every single pick was just like, we didn't know, like it just threw us for a loop. We didn't know, like Cordell Flott, Wan'Dale Robinson, Dane Belton, like all these picks, like we didn't even know about these guys previous. And so it'll be interesting to go over these names. First one up is John Michael Schmitz. Seems to be more popular, but it's still unpopular in my opinion, because a lot of people just throwing it out there and it became a little bit trendy. But John Michael Schmitz is not a bad prospect whatsoever, but I think all the interior guys are second round guys. Now you can talk about positional value, and I think that really takes precedent here. When you talk about John Michael Schmitz and just the interior offensive lineman as a whole, you don't really want to reach for a guy in the first round in the Giants situation when you have other pressing needs. If you're a team like the Chiefs, if you're a team like the Buffalo Bills, you could afford to go ahead and make a move like this if you wanted to get a center and not have to wait until the second round, because you don't have a lot of pressing needs. The Giants, on the other hand, with the 25th overall pick, although they made it deep in the playoffs, they still have a lot of needs on the team. They are not a complete team. They have to go ahead and go with more better positions of value, and best player available. Getting a guy like John Michael Schmitz would not only be bad positional value, but also be best player available. He's just not even close to the best player available. I don't even think he's the best center in the draft. So drafting him 25th overall doesn't seem popular to me. Doesn't seem like a possible thing, but we can make a case for it. John Michael Schmitz is a decent center. I think he's better in the passing game than in the running game, in my honest opinion. I don't really think he's much of a mauler in any way, but I do like him. The Giants need a center, obviously. We could go ahead and reach for the stars and go ahead and get a center in the first round just to make sure we have that position settled. On the other hand, I just don't see it happening because there are other good centers in the draft that we can draft with later picks. Next up, Quentin Johnston. Now, the opinions on Quentin Johnston are all over the place. There are some people that have him as the best wide receiver in the class. There are some people that have him as like the 5th, 6th best receiver in the class, even 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, wherever. Like, people put him everywhere. He's probably the best true outside receiver in this draft, you know, along with guys like A.T. Perry, who I think is rising up in drafts, like to the second round. But Quentin Johnston is the best outside receiver in this draft. My only problem with Johnston, see, if the Giants drafted him, I would trust that they do the best they can with him. I would have to do it and put my personal biases aside and support the pick, but I just don't like Quentin Johnston as a player, to be honest with you. I think he's a tall body, big receiver that just doesn't play like a tall body, big receiver. He plays like he wants to be a slot receiver. He has very good short area quickness, pretty damn good on releases, but he catches passes with his body, doesn't high point the ball very well, and is somewhat of a deep threat, not a very good deep route runner. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Quentin Johnston to me seems like he's giving me Kevin White vibes a little bit, okay? So, but I would have to trust if he does drop to 25, which I think is personally going to happen, I would support the pick because it addresses a need in wide receiver, and technically he would kind of be best player available because a lot of people have him graded as a mid-first rounder. So next up, I have two people I'm going to put together, and that is Mazi Smith and Calijah Cancey, the defensive tackle position. Now, honestly, as I was doing more research with these guys, they're pretty damn good, and I would have to stop myself from being happy about the pick because we didn't address like wide receiver or cornerback, but we do need defensive tackle help. You know, Dexter Lawrence does need help, although he's very good, but we do need help on the interior defensive line position. Mazi Smith, I think, fits this team a little bit better, but Calijah Cancey is just an absolute animal. Calijah Cancey is a little bit undersized, 6'1", 281, but he is a pass rushing specialist on the interior. He would be such a good help with Dexter Lawrence, who has developed as the interior pass rusher, and putting Calijah Cancey there would just demolish the inside of the pocket, and then we could rely on Kayvon Thibodeau and or Azeez Ojulari finishing up the quarterback, but that would just be a great mix there. I, however, think that Mazi Smith fits this defense a little bit better. I think Calijah Cancey would have to be put in certain formations, certain downs, passing downs, third and longs, things like that for him to be really effective. He's decent against the run, but again, he's a little undersized, and he just doesn't have the power you really look for in a 3-4 defensive tackle. However, Mazi Smith is a guy that lines up everywhere, including at nose tackle, and does very good, knows how to plug in those gaps, stops the run extremely well, and actually is a decent pass rusher, has good pass rush moves from the interior. In my opinion, he doesn't really finish the quarterback very well. He doesn't get to the sack. He kind of like lets him slip away a lot, but he's a defensive tackle. I just need you to break through the pocket from the interior and flush the quarterback out on the outside, make him bounce outside, and let Kayvon and Azeez do the work. But man, I will be really, really hard pressed if I see these guys on there to not go in one of their direction. I've been falling in love with their tape recently, and I can't believe I would say this, but I'm a huge fan of drafting Mazi Smith or Calijah Cancey. It's weird for me to say, I know. Next up is a pick that I've seen that I had to wait to really get an opinion on because he was far on my like list that I get from some website of like draft picks to watch. I kind of watch them in each order, the best prospects to, you know, going down. And that's Josh Downs. Josh Downs, 5'9", I think 171. It seems like every receiver in this draft, besides like A.T. Perry and Quentin Johnston and a couple other guys, they're just 5'9". They're tiny receivers. I love tiny receivers. I love like smaller players, but damn, can we get some variety in here? But Josh Downs is a hell of a player. Honestly, I really don't know why he's not, you know, fitting in with like the Jordan Addisons and the Zay Flowers. I really grade him in that tier. He's probably a better route runner than they are. I think he is a better route runner than both of those guys. He has very good hands, tracks the ball very well. He was highly targeted, a big part of his offense at UNC. He was an absolute, like, all-reliable there in short yardage situations and could even go deep. Now, he doesn't have ground-breaking speed. I think I believe he ran like a 4.58 or something like around that range. And his game speed is not that great, like a Cooper Kupp. Actually, it's a really good comparison to Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is not very fast. Cooper Kupp ran a 4.7 in the combine, but he is a route running genius. He's a route running specialist and great in short yardage situations, and he does a really good job fitting into zones, sort of like what we saw in Jahan Dotson, the rookie last year, who just did a really good job at Penn State, just fitting in those zones, finding the open space, catching the ball, and just dipping after that. I like Josh Downs. And the Giants, if there's no more receivers on the board, no Zay Flowers, no Jordan Addison, I'm a guy that would say, hey, Josh Downs is an option that I wouldn't complain about at all. And the last name on this list is Kelee Ringo, the cornerback out of Georgia. Now, last on this list is Kelee Ringo, the cornerback out of Georgia. I don't know if it's Kelly or Kelee. My sister's name is Kelly, and it's spelled just like that, how Kelee Ringo's name is spelled. Her middle name is Kelly, and it's spelled just like that. So I don't know if his name is Kelly or Kelee. I'm going to just say Kelly. Now, I like Kelee Ringo a lot. I think he's a true boundary corner. I think he does a lot of things well. He does a couple of things that kind of irks you a little bit, like the deep speed or getting caught up on comeback routes like we've seen against Tennessee that he just completely got demolished on. He's not great on breaking on those routes in a short amount of time. But man, Kelee Ringo is aggressive. He's tough. I think he plays with a chip on his shoulder, and I like him a lot. Now, if you look at his measurements, 6'2", 207, he's one of the bigger corners in this class, and that's something you need on the outside. You can't be sticking around with these 5'11", 181 guys or something like that, or even Emmanuel Forbes standing at, like, I think he's like 6'1", 6'2", but like 166 pounds, for crying out loud. Now, Kelee Ringo is a very balanced corner, especially with his size. It's always a good thing. He plays the run. He's a willing tackler. He plays in man and zone pretty well. He doesn't really have any, like, extreme red flags for me. I would say he's a decent cornerback prospect. And if the Giants were to go ahead and take him with the 25th pick, I wouldn't mind. I put him right up there with Emmanuel Forbes and Cam Smith. I kind of like Ringo better than Cam Smith, in my honest opinion. So there it is, guys. Those are the more unpopular but probable candidates the Giants can draft with the 25th overall pick. Who are your dark horses to be drafted with the 25th pick? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!